Hi, my name is Sandra Salazar, and I am currently a Pittsburgh police officer. I think back about like a lot of the activities that we would do with the kids, and festival in a sense, we'd call it that, right? And it'd be just like us doing activities with the kids all day. We'd get the kids pizza, we'd do, finish it off with popcorn and ultimately a movie until they got picked up. It's not a big deal that we had pizza and popcorn and candy and activities in a day, but no, it was a big deal, because maybe that was it. Maybe that was it for their Christmas, or maybe that was it for their Halloween. Like that was their festivity in a sense, So no matter how minimal and how silly you thought those things were, it was such a big deal for them. I remember their happiness. I have the pictures still in my phone of seeing how happy they were at these little events that we would do to them, and like how they thought it was so funny when we'd be silly, how they didn't know that it took forever to even just get the school to let us even put up the projector to watch the movie, and how we had to do all this popcorn, and how Miss Sandra had to go and buy a heck of pizza from Little Caesars. Like they didn't see all that backstory stuff, and they were just so grateful for it. All those little things that I do, no matter how in the moment it was like so frustrating or so hard, or like hardships in a sense sometimes that I think about, it's like, it's all worth it. I come to these people and I'm in these people's lives for what could be 15 minutes, 30 to an hour, depending on what the call for service is. No matter, at the end of the day, like I remind people, I'm very empathetic, and I let them know like I have a job to do, right? And I'm here to assist you in whatever that assistance may be, whether it's medical, whether it's to just hear you out, and whether sometimes it involves having to take somebody to jail ultimately, right? Like these are life-altering situations, and I always try to leave those situations and to the best of my ability. I'm sorry we had to meet under these circumstances. It's a bad situation, but you're not a bad person. If you need anything, here's my card, here's my number. I'm great at honestly providing people with my work cell phone number, because I don't mind helping people. That's what we're here to do. I'm here to help you. But if I took personal every little thing that somebody said about me, I wouldn't be able to carry on with the job that I'm doing. And that's the biggest takeaway I think that I learned from BACR, is just like learning to let things roll off your back, and remembering that these kids are saying these things because they're angry, but they don't mean them, because tomorrow they're gonna walk in and they're gonna see me and they're gonna say, I'm sorry, Miss Salazar, or I'm sorry, Miss Sandra, and they're gonna give me a bracelet and I'm gonna be past it. I hold myself to that ultimately. It's not always about what you say, it's about how you make people feel. I try to treat people with the utmost respect at all times, no matter what, and I don't take things personal. You can't. During my 5 years with BACR, I always continued my education, because that was priority to me always, right? I mean, you're working in the school, how can you not make school priority? That's just me. So during that time, I was able to get my associate's degree, and then ultimately I was able to start working towards my bachelor's, and I was never in a situation where I couldn't have a job. So I was so thankful that BACR just was so flexible with my schedule, as complex as it was at sometimes and chaotic. Whether it was me taking courses in the morning and having to let my supervisor know that I was going to be maybe 15 minutes late because my class stayed longer, or whatever it may be, they were always just very accommodating towards me. Can't say so much about some jobs now that I've had, but BACR definitely they just helped me. When I was working on my bachelor's, I was having to take night classes, right? Because as a coordinator, I'm there a little bit longer in the morning, and then, I have to be there, and it's a once a week class. So every Tuesday I'd have to leave maybe 30 minutes before. I wouldn't have been able to finish school if it weren't for BACR, because as important as education has always been with me, I was never put in a financial situation to not have a job. I think BACR was they gave me the exposure. They gave me the chance, the opportunity, which I've always said is the biggest thing, right? Sometimes experience can speak for itself. Your resume can look great, you can interview great, but sometimes all you need is an opportunity. They gave me the opportunity, they gave me the flexibility, they gave me the skills that I needed and that I ultimately was able to build upon. And so BACR allowed me to continue my education, which has now led me, obviously, to have my bachelor's in sociology. And I currently have my master's in criminal justice as well. Now, BACR actually oversees schools in Pittsburgh. Going back and working in those schools as like a school resource officer or having to go calls for service and seeing line staff with the, the blue BACR shirts, it's just a very humbling moment because it's been such a great organization and they've grown. And even for me, it's being able to reach out to certain people that I'm so happy still work here, like Shayna and Derek and Christina and Heather and so many other people that I remember from when I was a coordinator, and like still networking with them. Like, hey, I know somebody that, is trying to, get a little bit job experience and they're going to school and I think would be a great fit. How can we network better so that if I have a family that possibly may be in need and that could use from not necessarily maybe the after school programs, but the other great resources that you guys offer, like how can we make that happen? I can speak from experience because it's familiar to me, right? It works. Back then, BACR was so like new, at least for Contra Costa, right? Yes, I was solely in the after school setting because that's all I knew then. But now, as I've grown to see, it's, the after school, but it's the mental health, it's the work placement, it's the consistency, right? These kids know it, the shirts, I've seen them, the company's grown. I mean, even in the office that I'm sitting in now, this is nothing compared to what I sat in when I was a coordinator. It's an overall really great feeling to see how well and how successful this company has been. And I can always speak positive things from it because I lived it. It's so rewarding, to be honest, because that's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is to just give back to my community. And in a sense, I feel like I'm doing that now by just having this opportunity to talk about how it shaped me to be the person that I am, and how even now I still am always like recruiting people for BACR from what it seems like. You wouldn't be where you are if you weren't meant to be it. Working for BACR definitely pushed me in ways that I may not have necessarily thought that I was ready for in that moment, but I became ready. I was a line staff and then I became a coordinator. Had I stayed, I could have been a manager and moved on from there, right? Because I feel like this organization would have pushed me for more, to exceed more and want more. I know it's difficult to have to manage 25, 30 of kids that are not yours, right? But you make a difference. And as frustrating at times as it may seem, like these kids look forward to seeing you and they will remember you. They'll remember the good. They'll remember the bad. Be consistent and know that you're important, and know that you're not only important to these kids, you're important to this organization in a sense, right? You do matter, and know that if you are going through something, whatever it may be, hardships, whether you're needing to take time off or you're running late because of A, B, and C's, all it is communicating and letting them know, because they want you to succeed. This company wants you to succeed. This company has helped me succeed, right? And I'm not even done. Like, I want to push forward to be a go-to in the community that I'm now servicing, right? You really get it all. You work with the kids, you work with the community, you work with the school district, you get your exposure with the teachers, and you never know who you're talking to, right? So it's like learning how to have good conversation with people, hard conversation with people. You don't know what those conversations and how like they will help open doors, right? Don't think that any idea that you have is too small. Vocalize it. Don't think that any goal you're working forward to obtain isn't obtainable. Speak on it. If there's a goal that you are wanting to obtain, this is the place to be in order to obtain that.